Okay, well let me introduce this video because it's going to be a bit complicated and a bit back and forth. I'm going to take you through this big commission, and there's a multitude of characters in this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 already, all Nintendo characters, and for this one I'm going to draw Bowser from Super Mario. I'm sure you'll know who that is, and I'm going to take you how to do it from the very scratch, from the sketch, line work and colour, and then I'm going to talk about the other things on this on this piece of art, and how I'm doing the line work again and again. So it's going to be quite a dragged out long video, but this is just for the Patreon. So if you do enjoy just watching this sort of content, longer content, where you're actually sitting side by side with me, I'm taking you through the process, let me know in the comments. But I want to also let you know I'll be speaking over this video because I really have to put all my concentration into this as it's commission, and balancing my mind through talking and drawing live is quite difficult for me to do. So yeah, what you're going to see is me talking over, but I'll be explaining the process to you and just give you a clear understandings, and there'll be snippets here and there where I'm actually live talking to you. Hope that all makes sense. I'm not going to waste any more time, and now I'm just going to jump straight into this and show you every single thing I do to create an image. And the first thing we're going to do is obviously the sketch. All you're going to need for this is your paper and pencil, and maybe if it helps you, some reference of the thing you're drawing. Because this is Bowser, he exists already in reality, so we need to use his features to create a customized version of that. Hey everyone, this is Sotep from the future. Welcome to this tutorial. And the first thing that I'm going to be doing with this drawing is actually start off with a big circle. Like all my other tutorials, I'm going to start off with the head shape first and look to build all the way around and to actually create the final image of Bowser. So yeah, you want to draw yourself a circle to begin with. The first things I'm going to put into place once the head shape is there is I'm looking to put in each eye placement. And to do this, I'm just simply going to use 2 smaller circles to really concentrate on the eyeball, and then I'm going to build the eyebrows, or like the lines underneath the eye around the initial circles that I first put in place. Right now in the video it's a little bit light, so I hope you guys can actually see what's going on. I try and play around with the contrast a little bit just to darken out. But yeah, those are the first things that I like to start with when creating any character you see of mine. Now the next thing I'm going to move on to with Bowser is the nose, because it's so prominent and in front of the face. And the first shape is I'm doing this slight triangle shape from both eye points, just coming underneath each eye to make a triangle. And now from there, using the head shape, the round circle I put in place at the very beginning, I then can get a good indication of the mouth, where the mouth is going to go. And for this one, I'm going to make it sort of smiling, but with a bit of an open mouth and jagged teeth. So I'm going to really put it up beyond the eye, have it sitting on the left side of the face, right here. Once the mouth is in place, I'm then going to look to put the teeth in and build around the mouth shape here. And now I've got all the key features, so the eyes, the nose, and also the mouth in place and in a happy position. I'm then going to work on the horns on the top side of the head here on the right side, the left side. So now I'm just going to put one horn in, which is just a straight sort of V shape, and then also make sure it lines up with the horn on the left side of the head, and make sure that both are balanced out nicely. So it gives me a good indication of where I can round off the very top of this character's head. Even though I started off with a circle shape, you can always adapt that and change as you go. As you will see with this, I slightly round off the very top of the head, as I think that shape suits it a lot more. Once that is all in place, I then start to move on to the body. And to begin with, I don't try and concentrate too much on the specifics, but more of just a general shape of the body. So right now I'm just putting in the body, dropping almost down straight into this Mewtwo here, so it's going behind that, so there's layers of characters. And another cool trick for you is, once the body's in place, is I actually then, instead of putting in the arms, what a lot of people think you do, is I then start to put in the hands first. And once I have the hands down in place, that will give me a good indication of how the arms connect to the body. Also allow me to flow around a little bit and give it a bit more of a dynamic look, instead of trying to bridge out from the body. Hands first, then connect to the body. That's a big thing I do with a lot of my drawings. And now once I've gone over the whole thing and I've added the features, let's say the face is all in place and I'm happy with it, I've been put a rough guide of the body, which then can be adjusted, and then the hands. Once I've connected the hands to the body by drawing in the arms, I then look to place things like accessories or other characteristical things that can really make your character stand out. For this, I was working with a client. I really wanted to give it the sort of Smash Bros theme. So for Bowser in this, I'm actually going to make him hold a baseball bat and maybe have like a cloth in his hand. He's like polishing the baseball bat. That way, by doing things like this and cool accessories, you're more storytelling with your characters instead of just having it stood there plain as it would be in a concept design. So accessories can really be a cool feature to add to give yours a really distinct feel or give it way more personality. So never overlook that. And it's really cool because you could do different things like have Bowser, I don't know, cooking soup or something you wouldn't generally think of him doing, and just by adding that concept you just stand out from the crowd and other artists who just take the concept and have them doing the same routinal things. Okay, so now that's a really rough sketch in place, because what my mind is doing now, I'm thinking to myself, now get yourself like a fine liner. This is what I'm thinking. So you get yourself the fine liners, and now I'm gonna overlay with this and put in extra details with fine liners. Obviously, if you feel like you don't want to commit, because if you start getting nervous when you get the fine line in and you think, oh, I don't want to ruin my drawing, I would suggest you get the final bits out still with a pencil. Just darken up bits with your pencil. Let's say, for example, like you say, oh, I want to keep this eye, so you just darken the bits you want to keep with the pencil and you're not committing to anything. But for me, I'm going to use my fine liner, and I'm going to be using colours to highlight certain areas. So Bowser, for example, he has orange hair here and here, so I'm going to use medium to dark orange to line it. And if you do graffiti, this is going to transform everything you do. If you're a person that does the whole image lined in black, there's something magical about adding the colour as the outline. So instead of just instead of just outlining it all in black, solid black, and then colour it with the spray paint, if you are going to do this purple, get yourself the darkest purple to line it with. So all the orange bits I'm going to do in orange. All the bits that are green, I'm going to use a really dark green. The mouth is like a sandy colour, so I'm going to use a really dark brown and sew out throughout the whole image. The only place I'm going to use a black fine liner is around the eyes, just because it's like an eyeliner sort of look. But yeah, this is an incredible trick. I'm telling you now, try it. Buy yourself you can buy these fine liners off Amazon. You get the whole range for like £3, and just try it with your artwork and look at how it just transforms and it looks so much more professional. Honestly, that trick in itself worth $1,000, just that alone. So yeah, I'm gonna start fine lining now. So orange is what I'm gonna need. Get myself dark green, obviously black for the eyes, like I said, and like a sandy colour, because his skin's got a yellowy thingy, so like a dark brown would be absolutely perfect, just like this one here. I'm now going to just line the whole thing and talk to you guys about thickening it as I go throughout. So now I've got my fine liner. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the whole shape with a very small single line. I'm not looking into thicken anything up just yet. I just want to make sure I get everything done correctly with a solid line over the pencil. And then once I finally established that and I've added all the little details using the thin line, now I use this opportunity to double up my lines and add thicknesses in just the right location. Now you wouldn't believe how important it is to get line thicknesses in your drawing and how much depth and contrast it can actually create when doing so. Honestly, the lines that go real thick to real thin, even in graffiti letters, illustration work or concept design, it just is one of those small tricks that can really set your drawings apart. So if you are somebody who's accustomed to just getting out a 0.5 marker and just doing the whole thing in one line, I highly suggest you start doing things like double lining, which is when you use that to do two lines and fill it in. and combine that with doing flick off lines where you would just get the pen and you would just flick it to an almost a minute line. That the thinness and thickness without going OTT can actually set your drawings way above standard. Now right here, using the same principle as I just shown you on the eyebrows, I'm actually going to go and do the rest of the bits that are using that orange colour. I make sure I do every colour bit by bit until the image is complete. So using the same technique, smaller lines, I'm double lining here, and once I've double lined, I just use the same colour to fill it in. And for the horns, I actually used a brownie colour. So here I'm switching it up a little bit with the colour and doing the exact same process, making sure I line it once, all with these fine liners, and then take the opportunity to double up until the shape is fully done, fully rendered and coloured in. And for this bit here, I'm just going to speed it up a little bit because I'm sure you don't want to see me line every single thing I'm going around, but I'm just indicating for the main colours. If I'm going to go for green to colour it in, I'm going to use a very dark green to line it. If I'm going to go for the orange, like the hair, I'm going to go for a very dark brown, a dark orange colour to outline it. And yeah, you just want to keep going around the whole thing until you've lined it, using the technique of lining once, then double lining, until you finally get yourself to a happy place where it's all done and you're ready to start adding colour to your image. And right now I've got to look very carefully of where I'm going to position the legs, because he's coming up from behind a bunch of characters instead of being a standalone character. And here I'm just going to place it so he's got a bit of a bent leg, so he's being more pushed up from the background. Oh, with the fine liner here as well, I must mention I'm also using the crosshatch technique, so to put a good indication of where I'm going to be blocking in shades, instead of just putting in the colours later. I'm actually going to slightly line out and hatch downwards to give it almost like a light source. So later on when I do put the colour over it, it's got more of an etchy look to it, more of a scratchy look instead of just being smooth with the colour. But when we move on to the colouring stage, I can explain a little bit further and show you exactly what I mean. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with lining and using a liner to add shades in. That's perfectly cool. It just gives you a different look to your final image. And okay guys, once you have it all lined, you end up with something like this. And now comes the next bit. You want to be looking at the bits where you line it in the green and different tones of skin here, and select your colours. And here you just want to focus on a gradient of colours, so light, medium and dark. And for this one right now, just at this position, you could add more of a darker tone if you want more of a complexity of range of tones, so more of a dark to light. But I'm just going to keep this one simple so you get more of an understanding. I'm literally just going to use 3 tones here: the light, medium and dark. That's it. First thing I'm going to do is actually cover the whole thing with this green in the area I want it to be coloured in green. And the next little trick I have is I use one of these, is a white pencil. And I also will use, now and again, a black to go over the colours. So yeah, basically once I've gone over the whole thing with this green, which is the base colour, I then start adding the darker tones. But where I've cross-hatched it, I'm using the cross-hatching as a good indication of where to start putting the dark tones. And the cross-hatch also adds like a kind of texture to it, which I really like at the moment in a lot of my artwork. And once that is down, let it dry, grab yourself your white, and then from the lighter points you can just go over that green and it actually creates a lighter green. Very cool little trick. Add that extra bit of detail, bit of light source, and yeah, from there. And once you put down all the base tone, we move on to the next colour, so colour number 2. And now I'm going to use colour 2 to put in the shade areas. I'm also loading up pencil or pen number 1 here because this is how I do it. Okay, let me just show you on this bit here. Using a line where I've hatched in with the fine liner, I'm now putting the ink down, just round it with it and pulling away from it. And before it dries, I'm using pen 1 now to blend that into the first tone of the foundation we just all put in. Because it's got a bit of a slighter tone, you can also add thin lines now to add little indications of detail, like crinkles or wrinkles around the eyes. And these are very minute. And now I'm just going to do the same over. So here again, here's where I placed it. I can then come over into the light, shoot down, using the pen number 1 now, and pushing that around to blend into the first foundation. And I'll show you again here. See how I'm pinning it down? Sometimes I'm just a line of like that. Grab pen number 1, and now I'm pulling that down to blend in naturally with the base. Little trick as well, sometimes doing that, you can even just use this pen as an outliner itself and just add a few lines, which isn't fully line work, to create more texture to your drawings. Just like this. Might add like these little shapes here. Like, obviously he's got like crocodile skin, so it's not going to be as smooth as all this is. And once that's done, grab yourself your white pencil, and now you just want to look for areas you want to keep it light. So here would be cool, little spot, and just lightly shade it off. Normally, putting the lighter tone opposite where you put in the darker tone looks really cool. And when I shade up, it gives this really cool look, really subtle. It's not so in your face. It's one of those little tricks that people go, oh, how have you done that? It's not, you know, it's not the pen, it's more of a pencil. And let me show you quickly when you get the dark tone. So you might say I want to darken up this area. So this is now number 3, color number 3, the darkest tone I picked. And we repeat the process, but this time going darker. You grab number 2, you put in the dark tone with number 2, and you see that already? A lot more depth now. Then grab number 1, and we continue that throughout until you've got this nice smooth blend. The reason I'm showing you this now is black pencil. Now you can just take it to the knot, right to the top. If you just shade off a little bit and you've got such a dark and it's still got that green colour. Obviously don't press too hard with the black, you don't want to go straight black, but you just want to do that. And if you're really technical, you can then start using small black lines, just like that, add these like textured effects to the skin, and that to me just makes it way more like complex, but so simple to do. You take this as well to your art, incredible. And because you've got the round circles then, and all the tones are in place, grab yourself your white, and then just give it more of a 3D look to it, by just adding little white dots to it, just like so. Even in the dark, a few little whites working the opposites. Now I'm working the white and the black, and now there's so much more texture to it. And I will probably do this throughout the whole drawing, because as you can see, you've got a very smooth look here. I want to have a real bumpy, a real hard effect. And knowing this technique, I can't believe I'm just giving you this all like for free, to be honest with you, because you start listening. If you just listen to me and take this skill on, trust me, you can just use this effect again and again. You can do a simple face at this and people will be like, yo, that's so complex. And once you know the secrets of how to do it, you know deep down, ain't that complex. But just having the right tools. So I cannot stress enough, using pencil with pen, which a lot of people don't talk about or don't do, is a massive secret. A huge secret where you can just, it doesn't even look like pencil even. Anyway, I'm gonna carry on now. Just take that skill, you know what to do with it. And got my darkest pen again. And I'm just want to do whatever I think need darkening up I want to do. So then this is number 2, the second green, and now I've got my light one. I'm dragging it down, and I'm also just going to rough up some lines up here, really loose, because I just don't like it being too smooth if it's crocodile skin. You've got to think about what you're drawing. I just think like a few lines, a few cracks, sort of gives it more of a rugged effect. And you want to keep working it. This is the darker tone that you know. Here you go, number 2, I can just drag it like this even, really loose with a pencil, pen, and just add these few lines in. And that's what I'm going with this. I want to keep the main goal is texturize, and by that I mean you want these rough little circles, maybe a few dots like this, and then using the pen, this is the biggest hack, the pencil, sorry, over pen, you're gonna just blow your drawings out of the water. And if you are confident with the markers, you can just jump straight into the darkest tone, know exactly where you're pushing it, and then take your lightest and work it over. But if you ain't got that confidence yet, start with the medium and light first, and then you can see from there, like, okay, this is medium here, now this is the light tone, and you might think, that's cool. You might go, oh, I like it like that, I'm not gonna put any darker tone in there. Because doing that, keeping medium to light, when you do put the dark areas in, it looks way more impactful instead of just putting it absolutely everywhere, the darker tones. But there is something to having real dark tones next to light tones. The contrast adds a lot of depth to your imagery. Like, if you just rewind this video back to how I just done the base coat tone to now, you'd see a huge difference. And I think that's definitely something that a lot of people get drawn to my art, is the contrast in there with the colours. It looks very very pleasing to the eye. I'm gonna now actually probably time lapse the first time lapse here, and just use on the face the 2 pencils so you can see the difference from now to when I've added all the texture to it. And that's how quick you can add so much texture to your image with these 2 pencils. And I cannot believe I've just given you like my greatest secrets. I feel really exposed telling you this, because it's like, now you're seeing behind what's happening and how I do. I feel like now you'd be like, oh, say that, like, your stuff isn't even that hard to do. Anyone could do that. And it's like, yeah, it's true, once you know how, man, it's easy. So well, I'm glad you know. I hope you actually get some from this, and I promise you, use this technique, man, people will be blown away. Like, having a browser now with all this crinkly look, I haven't done the white too much yet, it just looks like transform the whole thing, man. I think it looks pretty sick, to be honest. I really like it now. And it's endless, man, it's endless. Once you put the white in and stuff, like here, you add this like glossy look to it, over the nose, head, on the bridge. Once again, you just grab your darker pencils, so you might go, okay, now I'm getting there. You just keep going with it. Up here now, I'm gonna add more darkness. Boom. I'm actually just gonna take the whole thing in dark. You start just adding and adding and adding, and you're building it up now, because all the tricky bits like the sketching's all in place. Now it's just putting the lines in. There's little details that just make the whole thing pop. And you can rework around the white. So you wanted white here, boom, put a little bit of green around it. Frame the white, make it look more exposed. Got the little dimples, and there we go. There we have it. That's all the green for the face down. That's going to be the main bit I want to be showing you, because obviously one of the faces is one of the key points you're going to go for. And learning those principles you learn from the green, you just apply the exact same with the oranges. Here you go, 3 tones, 1, 2, 3, lightest one first. And this is what I mean. Cover the whole area, like before. Yeah, I'm just trying to do it quick for you so you get like an understanding, because this is going to be quite a long lesson for all you guys on Patreon, but I'm intrigued to know whether you enjoy these long lessons, if you have the patience to sit through them and just chill with it, or whether you're just like, can you just get to the point, so Tep? Your ass is taking too goddamn long. So let me know in the comments what you like, and I'll definitely bring it for you. Medium tone now. The medium, like exactly the same we did with the green. I'm just hammering it in for you, because this is just a rinse and repeat. Starting off from the crosshatch effect I've done, I'm just now layering it in. I'm doing this at some speed. I'm not even being too careful, and I'm pushing it to the bottom with colour number 1 again. So I'm taking it, and the colours will naturally blend. If you want to know what pens I'm using, these are Copics. These are just Chow Copics. The best Copics I've ever used. I'm not even sponsored or nothing. I absolutely love these pens. The effects and the colours just blow my absolute mind. Like, they look gorgeous. Absolutely bloody gorgeous. Drag that in, fade it out, boom, you're left with that. Looks sick as hell. And let me put that on autofocus quickly so you can see a little bit better. Like so. Get out close there, nice and close for you guys. And then you might go, okay, that's cool, I want to keep it like that tone, that looks nice. But I like taking it a bit darker, I just like the darkness and it blends in more. And now we're just taking the darkest tone. And I'm just going to be actually halfway, so it starts off here. Now I'm grabbing tape number, colour number 2, put in colour number 3, and then back to number 1. So all 3 transitions, and you'd be doing the same with spray paint if you are planning to spray paint a character. Just 3 colours here, guys, that's all I'm using. And here I'm going to take the darkest from the back, boom, move on up, push with my shade number 2, number 3. Now grabbing your darkest colour, I'm adding these small little squares like this, and these little small triangles, because obviously it's like a fur texture. I'm probably going to use number 2 actually, just because it's a little bit lighter. Boom. And add a few of these up here, give it more texture. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do the tips with colour number 2 here, very slight, and then just put it in with colour number 1. Being quite rough with it because it's textured hair. And just pin some lines now. And you have something like that. Once again, I'm doing the same thing. Grab yourself your black pencil and your white, and then just go over the bits you want to whiten out, like the top here, front, and darken out with the black pencil. Now, the key word here for doing these sort of characters is the word layering. It's literally just a repeat process now going throughout the imagery. I suggest you go and research into actual real life and how shadows fall, because you can have the same character, literally the same face, and have different shadows that fall on that same face. Obviously, it's the real world, and that will create more dynamic, dark characters to lighter characters, and also give you a sense of the surrounding area they're in. So here, once again, the first colour goes down, and I'm layering the second, and if I really want to, then put the third. Once all 3 tones are in place and I'm happy with that block of colour, that little section where it's all that beige, I'm then going to get my white pencil and black pencil and repeat the process. And this technique has been used on every single character you now see on this poster. Not one of them hasn't had the same routine or treatment. It's just a repeat process again and again and again. Another quick tip for everyone here is that also don't be afraid to revisit back to the lining stage once you progress in the colouring. Sometimes you notice as you colour in, there's certain areas that don't pop as much, so don't be afraid to then grab your marker out and just put a thicker line on certain areas to really exaggerate that bringing forwardness which you can have in your drawing. Honestly, I said at the beginning, line work is a massive key, and don't fall for the trap of just lining it all in one thickness. Mix it up, different line thicknesses to bring things forward and push things back. And another side technique I'll tell you now is if there's something in the background that you want to be almost not too in focus, don't put any line on it and just approach that shape with colour. So let's say on this Bowser here later on I'm going to do the tail. I'm not even going to line it, I'm literally just going to get the sandy colour for his tail, put it in place, and it looks further in the distance than the features in the foreground. So not only then does it give the look of contrast, it also just gives it a much more how can I say, just a much more variation in style happening all in one piece. And once again, it's just a repeat of the same process. I picked the colours first, so for the horns I wanted to go for grey, put the light in, mid, then dark tones, blend it out, and look for areas to then add the fine liner again. And I actually did that quite a lot with this drawing. I fine lined it all, the basic structure, and I started adding small dimples and small circles just to give it a really rugged look, a really scratched up effect as you see now in the shell. And the same process again, guys, for the arms. Light, dark, all in one go. And that is all the steps I use to create my characters. That's the same process I've been doing throughout all the pictures you find on my Instagram and throughout the entire commission. Every single one of them, that's just the process of it. And once you start understanding that, you can create an abundance of characters in your style just by doing this, or you can even add to it by having the more colors. Like I said earlier, if you had maybe 6 different colors from dark to light, you have a really smooth, complex looking image. And then the colors, the white and black on top, you'd have something that looks absolutely incredible. Sometimes less is more. This is where I'm going with this commission. And yeah, guys, this is how to do Bowser. And I'm unsure how I'm going to edit this video right now, but I think as well I'm going to continue showing bits and bobs of the commission, explaining how I'm doing every single bit so you get a really great understanding. This is just for the Patreon, so it's a bit longer, as I said before, but yeah, hopefully you get some sort of value out from it. Massive thank you to all you Patreons. I really hope you enjoy these private and exclusive tutorials. These are rarely in depth. This is why they're a bit longer, so congratulations if you've got the attention span, which a lot of people don't have in this world, to sit through it. And just to let you guys know, this is going to be your Patreon print of the month. So it will be with you with your stickers and other goodies very shortly. Hope you all enjoy.